Okay. So we are live. What's up, everyone? It's super excited to have a bunch of people hearing us, and honored to have the presence of a lot of like great DevRels in the space. And I think like every month we are running this live coding session. We are building those cool stuff. We're breaking a lot of things. We are debugging live in front of everyone. And as always, and I think it's getting better and better. People are also suggesting us things to do, question to ask. And I think this time, this month especially, is all about the Delegation Toolkit, and we will dive into like building something around Delegation Toolkit. So if just this is quite a refresher, but if you guys want to check what we build an AI agent using MetaMask SDK before. We actually built a app. We deployed on Linea the months before. We have a bunch of like links that we will share it with everyone. So to see like, and these are kind of like unsocial sessions. We are building something together. We're showing we're coming like in front of you guys and building something from scratch, and we're following just tutorials and building tutorials. And the goal is really like to build something together. And if you guys have any question, always feel free to ask things. But without ado, let's getting started. Let's do a quick round of intros. I'm so happy that we have more and more people in these coding sessions, and they're always getting better. So who wanna start? Shintaka, you wanna start?
Probably, yeah. So I'm Chintaka, shortly Chin. If you can just call me Chin, if it's hard to like pronounce the whole name. But I am working as a developer for the MetaMask Delegation Toolkit, basically building the documentation, doing like coding sessions like this for starting today. So those are the things. So, uh, Ayush, you wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. Really grateful to be here. So, I'm Ayush. I'm from Web3auth. I work as a senior developer engineer at Web3auth. And as Sintaka said, like we handle the docs and writing the examples, building tutorials. And super excited to be here and see like what we build together with DTK and MetaMask today.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think I can go next. This is Alejandro. We've been doing this live coding session for like 3 months already, 2 months. I don't know. So yeah, basically I'm a DevRel engineer at Consensus, and we've been creating sample tabs, videos, blog posts, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's time to have some fun.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, without you guys, I think like the community is always bombard us with questions. Is asking a lot of like different kind of like tutorials, and we are always hearing the community. We're also throwing like different tutorials, especially on the MetaMask SDK previous sessions. Alejandro kind of like took over like the stage. We also build in between like the CLI. We revamp different docs pages. A lot of like different tutorials are coming up, and now it's time for actually Delegation Toolkit to shine. I think a lot of people are also writing for to be in like in some kind of like wait list. They are testing Delegation Toolkit, and we're getting more and more public. And it's time to actually like build something and showing you guys what a Delegation Toolkit. So quick refresh around the agenda. So Shintaka will or Chin will take over kind of like the what is the delegation toolkit for anybody that never heard about it. Actually quite strong SDK. And then also like, I mean, I usually like feel free always to jump in. I'm super excited also to see the Web3 auth kind of like integration side. And then also we will see Alejandro that will set up the agent code similar to the older live coding session, but with actually quite different things around the delegation toolkit setup. And I mean, he's a pro, so let's try to build something, and no pressure. If we're breaking it, we are debugging it live. So without further ado, I give you the stage, Chin. I untoggle your presentation here. It's super exciting, and I think when you see this graph, like you see really like the gator, and it's super exciting to actually see this image here. So welcome.
Yeah. Let's go. So, billion AI agent with the MetaMask delegation toolkit. You might be wondering why there's a delegator image wearing sunglasses and caps. Like, bear with me, I'll explain everything starting from what is delegation toolkit and what we can do with that one, and why we need to use delegation toolkit with AI agents. So, I'll be explaining everything, and after Dale will be coding the AI agent. We won't be doing the whole coding session today. Like we won't build the whole AI agent today because it's too long. Because we have to cover the the MetaMask delegation intro and the some part of the coding today. So we'll be doing some part of the coding, but not the whole thing. So keep that in mind. So let's start explaining the MetaMask delegation toolkit. So let's first we take a look at what is the UX in the Web3 at the moment before coming to DTK. So I'm like making the road to explain the DTK. So you know these things already. So when you go to a depot or something, these are the things you usually follow, right? You connect a wallet. There's a nice connect button in the top right corner of the app. You connect the button, and if there is a no wallet, you go ahead and download the wallet. For example, MetaMask extension or something, and then you have to back up your keys, your private keys. Otherwise, you will lose the access to the wallet. You have to do that one, and the connect wallet to the app, and the confirmation on the every interactions, like sign the messages when you in the app. And if you don't have either to pay for the gas, you have to fund the account first, so that you can pay for the gas and to interact with the blockchain and confirmation. So is look like this thing. So it's funny because we are just in the meta, we are just sharing this thing, but this is the like current UX with the uh, regular wallets, multiple confirmation time to time. It's not smooth, so let's like make it better with DTK. And how basically we want to solve the that UX pain basically. And we do it with this thing. This you already know the fox, the MetaMask cute little fox, and the gator. So we are mixing those together, foxes and gators together, and build some interesting use cases with the building a new ESDK. We are releasing that one. So let's see how gator can help the fox to fix that UX pain. And let's start with this thing. So delegate account, the delegate is a for ERC 4337 smart contract account. That's a lot. Let me go through one by one. First, let's settle on the EOL wallet. So let's explain what the wallet is in the beginning. Very first thing. So the wallet you currently have the regular wallet, which is we label it as EOS, owned by you, and you have the private key to authorize transaction, sign things, and that's the EOA. And also there is another kind of wallet is there, which is called we call it smart contract wallet. It's essentially a smart contract, but it we can program it in such a way that it can act as a wallet itself. Let's go through. So for example, say that there is a smart contract that acts as a wallet. So how do we manage the authorization? So for example, in a EOA, you have the private key to sign, but how do we handle those things with smart contract wallets? So how do we handle those things? So basically signing, how do we authorize the smart contract wallet? But the good thing is, since it's a smart contract, you can program it in any way. For example, you can, instead of private key, you can use another signer, another way to sign and authorize the transaction in the smart wallet. For example, you can even use pass keys, so or the face IDs or the other multi signature logic. And even Web3 or to introduce social login, just login with Gmail, login with Twitter, login with Reddit or something. So if you can code it in a smart contract, you can like basically implement the smart contract wallet. So major different. So how we interact with the smart contract wallet? So that's the key part. So because in a regular EOA wallet, what you do is you create a transaction and you connect to the node, blockchain node, and you send RPC request to the node itself. But with ERC 4337, you cannot do that one because it's not part of the Ethereum core protocol. So currently there's a sort of a workaround to handle this kind of smart contract wallets. We have introduced something called use operations. It's almost similar to the regular transaction, where you have the two value and data other properties with some other additional properties. And instead of sending that to the blockchain, you will be sending to a service called bundler. We'll talk about, like, when we start building, we'll explain everything together. It might not make much sense at the moment. Let's like figure it out while we coding. So basically, unlike EOS, you will be creating use operation and send it to the bundler, and the bundler is the one who is responsible on like validating the transaction and actually submitting into the blockchain. So the bundler do that one.
Quick
So
question.
yeah.
I have a question here. If is the bundler that the one who sends the transaction to the blockchain, who pays the gas fees?
So we the for the transaction. So that is one good thing with 4337 asset. So for example, who pays the gas? So that's the question. So in EOS, the EOA itself pay the gas, but with the bundler and all the ERC 4337 stuff, we can figure out who can pay the gas. So we call it paymasters, and we can attach the paymaster to the use operation. Let's say, okay, for to carry out this use operation, this contract will pay the gas, so we call the paymaster. You can attach the paymaster. So once the use operation is successful, the gas is deducted by that paymaster account. No, it won't be paid by the UA or some other party. So that's one other cool thing with using smart contract account, because you don't have to worry about the gas. So basically that can pay for the gas.
Okay.
So
I have a question, like just following to the Alejandro's
mhm.
question, like does it allow me to use any other token apart from the native token to pay the gas
Yes.
fees? Like if I have USDC in my account and I don't want to pay the gas
Yeah.
using it, does it allow
Yeah,
me to
you
do
set
that?
up those things in the paymaster itself. So that is possible,
Oh,
yes.
nice.
So those like cool little neat things. This is not the best way to handle things, but there are some other standards coming in with the Petra update and other stuff. But for now, we are focusing on the smart account to build the delegation. So again, coming back to this thing. So delegator, we are building smart accounts, but since we can code it anywhere we want, because it's a smart contract, right? After all, so we can code it anyway, and we coded it this way. So this way, so you can still see that. So you can use my wallet, but so here you have the delegator, which is your smart account. What you can do is you can allow some other party. We call it delegate. We just label it delegate, and delegate could be another EOA like MetaMask or some other regular wallet, or it could be another smart account. What you can do is you can allow the delegator can allow to use your wallet, delegator wallet, by some other wallets. For example, let's say I want this delegate to spend some amount of token from my account, my delegate account. What I can do is I can create the object called delegation. So I'll show in the next slide how does the delegation look like. It's just a simple object or struct in Solidity. So what you do is you write a delegation with all the rules and other stuff, and you sign it. The delegator signs it and pass it down to the delegate. And what delegate can do is they can redeem the delegation. So we call it redeem delegation, which means they delegate is using delegator's wallet. So say that they call a smart contract or something, they'll won't be using delegate's account, they will be using delegator's account instead. If you go ahead and redeem the delegation. So if you think about it, you can build very powerful use cases. For example, in our demo today, so AI agents. For example, say that there is a AI agents that go ahead do some on-chain transaction like swapping tokens, bridging tokens, deploy ERC20 contracts, and doing transaction, etc. But since AI agent is dealing with LLMs and other stuff, LLM could hallucinate. We don't know. Don't know for sure what the AI agent could do. So because we don't have control over this most of the time, especially the wallet. Say that if you want to attach a wallet to the AI agent, we might not know what we will do. Let's say in the chat we say transfer this amount of token to this. So we ask the AI agent to transfer some token. He could hallucinate and transfer more than 10 tokens. So there are some cases. So what we can do is for the delegate, for the AI agent, we can have a wallet, and the delegator, we could the admin, the owner of the AI agent. What they can do is they can write predetermined rules and ask the AI agent to follow those rules when doing the transaction. So there are, and also you can do build multiple like interesting use cases with this thing. So basically, I can allow other evaluators to use my own rules. That's like
Okay,
the bottom line.
let me recap on that.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
basic,
Go ahead, Ajush.
yeah. So I was like saying the same thing. Like, so basically, if I have a wallet and I want like Francesco to use like X amount of USDC from
Yeah.
my wallet, I can basically delegate to Francesco without sharing my
Yes.
private key, and Francesco will still be able to access the
Yeah.
USDC from my wallet, but he can only access like 100 USDC max.
Yeah. If you
So if I correct me if I'm wrong, Chintaka.
yeah, if you set the rules, so say that by default you don't set any rules in the beginning, but you can set the rules. I'll go in the next slide. So keep it, keep it. So this is the delegation looks like. So it's just a very simple structure. So delegate is the other account, the other guy, and this is you, your account. And authority I'll come to later. And the caveats are the rules we mentioned. So the caveat it's a bit weird name, but basically it's the rules. So for example, what if you keep an empty array here for the caveats, which means you are essentially passing your private key to the delegate, which means they can do anything with your wallet. But we don't do that one because it's risky of course. So what we do is we set something called caveat. Let me go to the docs and show it, then you will understand. You see my docs, right? So in the docs,
Yeah,
docs.gator.metamask.io, here we have restricted delegation. We have a whole bunch of out of the box caveats enforcers. For example, let me get a easy one. Limited calls one. So this is how we set the caveat in the delegation. So with this, what this says is limited calls you can only redeem only once. So you limit the number of things the AI agent or delegate can do, just one. And let me take another one as well. What is native token payment? Here, so this is the one you mentioned now. So instead of allowing the delegate to do anything, you are restricting. Okay, you can transfer this amount of tokens only, and this is the contract of the native token. So it or something. And there are multiple
I
caveats
see.
that you can do. For example, another powerful is allowed target. So allowed targets is another caveat where the delegate can call a smart contract, but they can only call this smart contract. They cannot call any other smart contract. You can further restrict that one with allowed method. Okay, you can call this smart contract, but you can call only this method, only on this function in the solidity contract. Only they can call the transfer function. You can like configure everything in the caveats and call data even. So you can call this smart contract, this function, but only with these arguments. Hello gate in this example is hello gate and this 1 2 3 4 5. And you can like powerful thing with this is you can provide granular permission to the delegate so that they won't misuse your wallet. Did I answer your question? No, need more clarity on that one.
Yeah, this was amazing. Like, I just had like question like you mentioned that you MetaMask team already has a lot of like
Mhm.
enforcers and caveats predefined, like so that developers
Yeah.
can use it. Just an example, like if I want to create a custom caveat, like for my
Yeah.
own use case, like I'm building some app where I have my custom rules to be
Hmm.
set. How do I do that? Does it allow me to do
Yeah.
that in the SDK?
So here, just after this one, you can create a custom caveat enforcer. So if you are not satisfied with this out of the box caveats, you can create your own. It's just creating a smart contract, extending this thing caveat enforcer, and you need to implement before hook and after hook. There's after hook. Implement all this and deploy the caveat contract to the blockchain, and then you can use it in the caveat. So this, if I show the code a bit, so restricted delegation. So you add the caveats like this. You can chain multiple caveats. You here we adding like first thing we add the allowed target caveats, then allowed method. So you can basically chain multiple caveats together to build like very powerful rule system. And one thing to note as well, so these delegations, these caveats are all on off chain. So there is no relation to the on chain parts still until we
Oh,
submit the use operation. That is another powerful thing. So you can create the delegation to off chain and save it somewhere. We have our own solution with MetaMask to save the delegations, or even you can use IPF, so any other database you have to save the delegation. So this is off chain. So caviar, this is how the caviars
I
looks like.
see.
Sean,
Uh,
what are the most important caveats that you see people building around hackathons or just a main use case?
yes, mostly it's uh, allowed target,
Hmm.
restricting what they can call, what are the smart contract that call, and allowed method. So in this
Yeah,
smart contract, you can call this only these functions, and even the token transfer limits. So you can use my wallet to transfer this amount of tokens only, not go beyond that. So if you try to go beyond that one, you will the transaction and use operation fails basically. You cannot redeem the delegation.
sounds good.
Hmm. So if I like you said like there has to be a delegate, but considering a scenario like I want to like delegate to four different people like over
Yeah,
here, like we have like Chintaka, we have Francesco, we have Alejandro, and I want everyone to give like permission to use like 100 USDC on my
yeah.
behalf.
It's sort of
So do I need to create three different delegates or can I?
yeah, the thing is this. So you are suggesting something like invitation logic, like so you are inviting someone to use this dApp. So say the Polymarket or some other dApp, and I can send an invitation link to you, join the dApp, and you will get this amount of token to trade or something. There we for this use case, for example, if you know the invite invitee, the other parties wallet address, you can straight away use this one because here you can set the delegate. Say that if you don't know the delegate address, which means you are sending this invitation to someone who doesn't use Web3 at all. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. So there we have something called create a open delegation. Where is it? Create a delegation. Here, create a open delegation. There we don't specify the delegate address. You can just create your this is your address, delegate smart account address, and this empty one. So we don't keep empty. Like we recommend apply is there already. This is open delegation. So difference with this one and this one is here you create a root delegation. Here it's the open root delegation, which means it's an open delegation. Anyone can claim the like funds in your wallet. So obviously you need to add some better caveats here. And
I see.
since we are in the docs, I remember just one another one. So this is more and more powerful because even the delegate can create another delegation to someone else. With that way, you can build a chain of delegations. So it's like we can build any like interesting social network kind of thing, like referral link. So I get some funds and I write another delegation to another wallet and like multiple hops of delegations like chain delegations together, which is very very powerful. And all these things happen in off chain, so you don't contact off on chain at all in the beginning. And these accounts can be counterfactual as well. What is counterfactual is English, it's like a hard word to understand, but it's not in the on chain yet, it's just in the off chain. It just has the address only, but it is not in the or not on chain. It's just in the off chain wallet. It just had the wallet and other capabilities. But up until you create a use operation and deploy the delegator wallet. Remember, delegator wallet is again a smart contract, right? Until you deploy that smart contract to the blockchain, it will act as the counterfactual account. But even if it is not deployed to blockchain, you can still interact with the wallet off chain. And once you deploy the delegate account to the blockchain, all other delegations will be redeemed and all the transfers happen on chain at once you deploy the account. So that is another powerful thing. You can keep this delegate account counterfactual as much as possible. So we just when we need to use the blockchain, then we just deploy the account. So that is one another powerful thing with the delegate account. So I think we took a lot of time to explain it. Let's start building now. So again,
But
yeah,
this is
not
good.
building. Hope I
Yeah.
didn't bore you to death. So we are starting building,
Yeah, it
but
was really
again, we are
helpful.
not building. We are not building the whole thing today. We are so this is the like our target. Maybe Alejandro can go.
Yeah. I
What are
mean, this time we took a bit longer explaining about what we're going to do because the delegation toolkit is actually a more complex thing than other live coding session where we were basically creating stuff using the MetaMask SDK. So just a quick recap. Basically, the delegation toolkit is a I don't know SDK
yeah.
that help you delegate calls so that way you can sign transactions on behalf of the other person. At least not you, but like the delegation you create for that person specifically. So what first comes to mind when we think on this is that we can delegate an AI to make transactions on our behalf, basically. So that's what we are going to try, or at least we are going to start building today. So yeah, let's give it a look to the code right here. Let me know when. Let me just check when my screen is on the live stream.
I
There it
just
is.
toggled that one. Yes.
Okay. So basically, what are we going to use to do that? Today, let's start by creating the delegator account because we have different steps right here. Let me just check this. We have a delegator account. We have a delegate account, which is going to be the wallet, the
Agent.
AI agent, yeah, account. We're going to have the caveats, which are going to be the conditions or rules uh, that we're going to create to the delegation, and then we're going to create the delegation itself, adding the delegator, the delegate, and the caveats. So this delegation is going to store somewhere. We're not going to get this far today because it's a lot, but at least we're going to get to the delegator smart account. But when you create a delegation, you have to store this delegation somewhere. We're going to store it on the, I don't know, Chin, is the MetaMask storage service?
Yeah, there's a storage service with MetaMask, which is experimental at the
Okay,
moment, but we can use it anyway in the next session
great.
probably.
Which other options does the users have or developers have for
Yeah, if you are just testing, you can even save it in local
cool?
storage or something, or just in any database we should work. It's just storage, just
Great,
simple structures,
great.
simple objects.
So yeah. So after saving, we're storing the delegation in local storage or wherever you want to save it. Then we have to fetch
Yeah.
them to be able to redeem the delegations. So this is basically like the general functionalities of this AI agent. We're going to be able to deploy smart contracts without having any wallet interaction, at least during the process. Of course, before we'll need to create a delegator account, the delegate, and all that. But that's enough talking. Let's start coding. So what do we have right here? We have a Next.js application using App Router, and we're using the AI SDK to be able to make a chat with an AI. What we have right here is the app directory with an API, which is calling the Next.js. We are using OpenAI, I mean the OpenAI GPT-4o model. We have a layout. We have a page, like regular stuff. Here in the components, we have the providers. Right here, we're using WAGMI and the query client provider so that way we can keep the state of the wallet connections. And what we have right here is the Web3 Auth connector. So this is a pretty cool service from Web3 Auth, and it allows us to connect to any wallet, basically. In this case, we're going to connect to MetaMask, but we could also have a Web3 login using socials. Basically, you could, yeah, do it using Google.
Maybe
Yeah, I
Ayush
Yeah,
think
can
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
Yes.
best example was like Chintaka showed initially, like what is the Web3 UX right now, current state. Like you lose your private key, you don't if you lose a private key, you cannot access your account. You have to like do the multiple confirmations, like if you are playing a game. And that all can be gone if you're using like Web3 auth, because with the Web3 auth you can access your same private key upon using the same social login. So if you go to like demo.web3.io, in the like if you are you can just go to demo.web3.io, use like any social logins that we have like Google, Facebook, Reddit. You can also use TikTok, like if it's not banned in your country. So you can also use that, or you can use a phone number to create the account, your Farcaster account, and you will basically have a Web3 wallet for you inbuilt. And it's called embedded wallet because it's an app scope wallet. So the whole wallet lives inside the scope of the application. Like it's not like the MetaMask wallet that you can connect like at multiple dApps. The app, the wallet lives inside the app scope. That's why we call it like embedded wallet. And I think like in this example, like we'll be using the embedded wallet as a signer to create the delegator account. And since like we are building an AI agent, it makes it super useful to use like embedded wallets, social logins to make it more easier to be onboarded on the application, right? Or a app. And that's how like Web3 Auth is helping right now. So
yeah.
anyone can just go
Yeah.
to
There is
web3.io to learn more.
Yes, that's awesome. There is one question that I have right now that I'm thinking. It's because I am building an application, but I'm building it in Solana. So can you create wallets in Solana with this or just EVM wallet compatible?
So that's a good question. We are basically chain agnostic. So yes, you can build Solana. You can also do Cosmos chains. You can also do Bitcoin, like any of the chain.
Okay.
Like since we give the private key, you can do all the magic you want on any chain.
Okay, that's interesting.
Question.
I will talk to you
Do,
later.
do you question, Yush. On the what about the account recovery? How does it work?
So so once you log in, like you can
Verification,
give
all that.
the yeah, it's a good question. So we do have like a we do give like users an option to like set up the MFA recovery. So
Hmm.
imagine like you're using Google account, right? You always set up like recovery email or recovery phone number. So similarly that you can set it in the Web3 account as well. You can set up the authenticator app, your passkey. So once even like if you don't have access to one of the share, like which is like your social login, you can still use the other factors that you have set up in the for the MFA recovery to access the account. So basically you'll be not losing your wallet ever again. Your money will be safe, I would
That's
say.
actually
The full safe is
quite
good.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually quite good. So, okay. Okay. I think we are good. To keep going, basically, next step is to review the AI SDK, which we kind of did it. We have the API route that connects to OpenAI. If there is any question, just let me know so we can answer it. And but by now, let's keep reviewing this. We have right here the chat, which is the chat component that comes from the use chat hook from the AI SDK. So this is actually quite simple. This is how it works. We are talking with an AI right here, and we are connecting our wallets with a Web3 outlet. So yeah, it's time to start building. The first thing that we are going to do probably is to create a connect wallet button, which is right here. But first, what do you think, guys? We have a bundler and we have the connect wallet button right here. Where do you think we should start to start creating like the
We probably start creating a delegate account, delegate
okay,
smart account, and use the Web3 auth as the signer.
awesome.
Again, if you have forgot already, so smart account, the delegate smart account, you have to attach some method to authorize the transaction in the smart wallet. So that's why a Web3 auth comes in. So is the transaction in the smart wallet is signed by the Web3 auth because it's just a smart wallet, a
Yeah.
smart contract, right? They cannot do anything. They cannot have private key or something. So we are try to create a delegator account and attach the Web3 auth as the signer here.
Okay.
Where do you want to start, Ale?
Let's start
So,
by creating the public client, which is cans public client. Let's do this, and this comes from VM actually, or from WebMe. Let me just make sure I don't. Yeah, work. So basically, this public client is the way we're going to use to interact with the wallet address of the delegator account. Am I right? So,
mhm. So you put all the chain IDs and other stuff in the
okay.
public client.
So we're going to
Yeah.
come right here. We're going to do this, and we're going to also call the uh, use wallet client.
So we need the wallet client to connect the Web3 auth signer to the gateway account. So that's why we need to create a
Yes,
wallet client. So people who know VM know wallet client. So it is basically interface to the blockchain to basically do actions on the
yeah.
blockchain. So
In this case, let me just select this. And
can you go Ale? Maybe we can get a
yeah,
docs
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
show how the so that's I think that's better. That way we see like there we see our target like where are we heading to. So go to create delegator account. Create a
Create delegate
delegator
account.
account.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these the coordinate snippets you need to follow. You see in our SDK, the SDK currently we will the name is at private MetaMask slash delegator
Mm-hmm.
core VM, which is at the moment it is private alpha. We haven't released it yet to the public. But if you want to try it out, there's NPM token you need to have, and just reach out to one of us, and we can provide a NPM token. And good news and the spoiler alert is we'll be making this public very soon, like in weeks time, so that way you can straight away use the
Oh,
SDK. So SDK is the way you create the delegate account basically.
nice. I think because I forgot to add the npm that npmrc thing, so
Uh-huh.
probably I will stop sharing my screen. You're going to send me, or I can find it anyway to or
I
I
think
can add
you
it.
can.
You think? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do that. Basically, what I am going to do is to check how working code. Okay, I have this right here. Let me just add this. The difference is that I have installed permissionless and VM to this right here. So let me just commit this, and now I can check out, and I will copy this right here. So this way we have we can have, well, don't save in this case. Oh, I didn't save it. We'll do it again.
yeah, that's fine.
Life of a developer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So to context, I is trying to install the SDK right now.
Exactly.
So because since you it won't like you cannot just npm install, so you need an npm token because it's private for some time at least, so for
It's
few
good to
weeks.
hear that in a few weeks will be
I
public.
see.
That's good.
Yeah.
So if you have the
All
access
good.
to alpha right now, you are the OG.
Yeah.
OG, exactly. We have a token already. So
Oh,
all
good.
good,
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah,
good,
yeah.
all good.
So,
So can you scroll down? I can. So do you see the account await to MetaMask account? So that is how you create the delegate account client. So basically, create the delegate account. So there are some few parameters we need to create the delegate account. Then we'll walk through everything.
yes.
Yeah.
Let me just copy this so we can import it. I will commit the code, but I am doing it. In this case, we're not going to use Cephalonia, right? I mean, Linea Cephalonia. We're going to use just
Yeah.
Cephalonia. And yeah, do we have it right here? So yeah. So now after having this, we have the imports, we have the transport right here, I think. we'll use the public client coming from like this
from
one.
VM, right?
I
Yeah,
think no, this is the wallet client.
the
We need a public client.
we need the wallet
Yeah,
client as well. We need both
and I won't create a public client. I would get it from
from
yes,
WorkMe.
but the import exactly is use public client.
And yeah, let's use public client.
Yeah. So now that we have the public client and the wallet client this time, I think I can. We have the salt. Let me just copy it.
So I'll explain this all.
Yeah.
Maybe just the two MetaMask only.
Okay.
So we don't need the other.
What does the sol do, Chintak? Like,
Sold. Good question. So, for example, so the Web3 auth or the other signer we use have their own address. So, if you say that you need MetaMask to sign the transaction, you have a wallet address for the signer. And how about the address in the delegate account? I said it's a smart account. How about the address? So, address, even before deploying the smart contract wallet, we know the address. We call it create to method. So that way we can have deterministic address for the smart contract wallet. And say for example, they to determine the smart contract address, you take few parameters. For example, each code of the contract and other stuff, and mix it together to like build the address finally for the smart contract address. And the soul, what the soul does is it can just add some randomness to the address. For example, let's say you add one value for the soul, and if you change the salt value, it will derive a different address.
I
If
see.
you keep the same salt always for the when creating the client, it will derive the same address always. So it's
So
nice way to basically change the address, if
I see.
like having
So it's
generate random
basically the
addresses.
salt will be, I see. So salt will be basically used in the init code. And if I want to like have
Yeah,
like multiple smart accounts using the same signer, I can use like different salts to create different
mm-hmm.
smart accounts and still have the same
Yeah,
signer. I see.
exactly. So if you use the same signer, same other keep say that all other parameters are the same, it will derive the same address always. So you say that if you need a different address, you need to change the salt. Just it's a hex value. You can add another random hex value to derive a different address. Which means for the given single signer, you can have multiple delegate accounts.
Okay.
Where are
And
we at, Ali?
Yeah. I
So
I
what
am
is this? I
basically
can see
what
the
I
implementation dot hybrid. What's
yeah, so
that?
the first argument is client. Yeah, we set up the chain. So what is the chain we use for the delegate account? And the implementation, you can have two types of implementation for the delegate account. The hybrid one is you have single signer like Web3 or MetaMask or something, and you there is another type of implementation called multisig. Is multisig, so you can have multiple wallets signing the same thing, just like the regular multisig. So in order to do anything with the smart account, the delegate account, you will be like you can attach multiple wallets if it is a multi-sig. That way we can set a threshold, something called threshold, where let's say there are four signers and three need to sign the transaction to make it effective, may make it run. So those are the things that we do with the multi-sig delegator, but here we are focusing on the hybrid one, which is
Okay.
single signer.
So if I want to use like passkeys, I can use the hybrid signer. Cool, cool.
Exactly. Single signer. So I see Ale has said 0x as the
the salt.
deploy salt, which is salt. Yeah,
Yeah, it was giving me an error. So basically, yes.
yeah, that's why. So deploy parameter. So deploy parameter is the parameter you add the signer details, so signer's address, and at the signature you can see the line number 27, right? The signature you add the wallet client, and the wallet client is the Web3 auth client in the beginning. So remember we already connected the Web3 auth, and we are using that wallet client in the delegate account.
Great. Great. Um, so yeah, basically, just to recap right here, what we're doing right here, we're creating the MetaMask Smart account, which is going to be, in this case, the signer smart account, right? Is it? Hello. If
Sorry, what was
it,
that?
what we're doing right here is to create a MetaMask Smart account, which is going to be the signer smart account, right? Like the owner of the
Yeah.
delegation.
Yeah, owner is the Web3
Okay,
auth,
wallet.
Web3 auth, signer.
Exactly. We're using it
Yeah.
to create the smart
Wallet
account.
sign.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. So,
Let's see if we get the account or something. See if we get the smart
okay,
account in the in
basically what we're going to do
just go step by step.
is to do this right here. And this way we're going to be able to,
No, smart. Yeah, you
yeah,
try to.
basically just to be able to, I think this is this account.
I think type for the account is wrong in the this
Okay.
state. Okay, it's not that one. So you have to
Oh,
use
that's true.
uh,
Yeah,
Tama's
yeah, yeah.
smart account. It is put it in
Remember. It's okay. Where I correct.
Meta. Is it MetaMask smart account? That thing,
And
yeah.
right here.
That's the type of the smart account. Implementation
Yes.
and hybrid, of
Great.
course. Let's see if we get
Yeah,
the wallet
let's
in the.
try this. So right now, if we stop this, I'll make this bigger because okay,
Oh
what
yes,
if
it's
I
awesome.
wanna wait a second? Okay, better. Wait
That's
a
a bit
second.
too big.
Yeah, this is a bit tricky, but I know how to solve it. I've been doing with this like a lot. So basically I do this, and then if I inspect again, we're going to have this big. Yes. Okay, so let me refresh. Let me run first the application. Nice.
Alejandro, Alejandro looks pro here. How to increase the size
Oh
of
yeah,
console font.
we use a
Okay.
lot of those one.
The hack.
Um, so yes, probably right here, what I am going to do is to add is connected for the client and the public client, right? So this
Yeah.
way, issue, let me just make sure the panel element. I think it should, yes, I have to refresh this. Yeah, we have it right here.
Awesome. Okay, this is your delegate account you just
Okay,
created. And you might see, okay, so that is the delegate account's address. So address property is that one. So you see that is different from the signer you used, the Web3 auth
yes,
signer. You have created your first delegate account.
that's awesome.
Congratulations.
That's awesome. This is a really good start.
You
Yeah.
moved from Fox to Git. You moved from Fox to
The
Gator now.
Gator,
Later.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
So next steps. So I said, see, so the current smart account, delegate account only exists in Alice
Yeah.
machine now, right? So you have to deploy it to the blockchain, the smart contract account to make it effective. You can do it in later time as well, but to make things clear and neat, we are doing it right now. So you create the delegate account first and deploy it
Okay.
afterward. So deploying is a bit tricky. Let's see how we can solve this one because it's just not so it's not hard hat deployment or anything. We because we are dealing with 4337 stuff, use operations, bundle and
Okay.
other stuff.
So
So let's see how we can solve that.
you're trying to occur. Let's try this. Uh, okay. Basically, what we're going to get right here, what I think we have to do first, actually, it's because I kind of know what we're going to do, is that we
Yeah.
need to.
Shall I go? Shall I explain a bit? So, for example, to deploy the contra MetaMask Smart account, you just need to send a use operation, just dummy use operation to the bundler. I explained in the slides as well. We are not sending any transaction to the blockchain directly. Instead, we are sending that to the bundler, which is a special service that get the your use operation and bundle it and later submit it to the blockchain. So we are not interacting with blockchain. So what we need is we have to set up a bundler and send the use operation asking it to deploy the delegate accounts. That's what we are trying to do. To deploy it, there is no function to deploy it. We are just doing some hacks to deploy it. So let's figure it
Okay.
out. So bundler, I think we are using
Mm-hmm.
Pimlico, which is a popular bundler. Do you
No,
have
we
it set
we
up or
haven't. We
do we
haven't.
need to
Let's
go?
come right here. I will
Yeah.
create a wait a second, a new file. YouTube, and this is going to be Tumblr. That's here probably. And right
Yes.
here, what we're going to have is the bundler. So I have some code over here, which refers probably, I will copy and explain it a bit so that way we can give it a look so we do not take so much time building this.
Maybe can you go to the dashboard
Okay,
as well for the Pimlico? Then
okay.
it's clear, right?
I
So,
have it right here.
go to
This
Pimlico, and this is your bundler. So this not only a bundler. This in this case we use it as the paymaster as well, which means Pimlico pays the gas. Not Pimlico, we have to pay it. I mean, we have to add our credit cards and other stuff, but we can set up that all the transaction is paid by Pimlico as the paymaster. So you have already created API key, I
yes.
guess. So
Wait. Yep.
then can you go to the dashboard again? So API key, if you click on RPC URLs and those click it. Okay, those are the bundle URLs that you need to use. So for example, you set up a use operation and you send it to the bundler with this URL. Just like your Infura or other thing that you send the transaction to, something similar. But since we are dealing with 4337 account abstraction smart contract things, we have to send it to the bundler.
Yes.
Do you already have the? So you need to pick the correct chain ID as well and bundle you. Okay,
Yes.
all
Yes.
correct, right?
So basically, this bundler is the one that's going to execute our transaction, and it's
Exactly. So they do some checks before submitting to the
okay.
blockchain. They do like simulate the contract, like what will happen if you submit the bundle to blockchain. And once that is successful, they check the signature as well, whether it is signed by the correct signer. And once all that is successful, they submit it to the blockchain.
Great. And Pimlico is going to pay for the gas fees.
No, you will play, but Pimlico is the paymaster. You have eventually you will be paying it, but we set up the paymaster via
Okay.
Pimlico.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah, but I think yeah, it's a testnet. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what we have right
So
here, we have the AIM account abstraction that create bundler client and create paid master client. Okay, this is what you said. So we're using the paid master URL, which is the URL
mhm,
that we have. We know like the RPC
we got
URL.
from the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
dashboard.
that we got from here. And this way we create the paymaster. We have the bundler client,
Yeah.
which is the one we're going to use to connect to the bundler, I guess, and the Pimlico client.
Yeah.
So,
Since
yep.
we use since we use Pimlico for both bundler and the paymaster is the same URL
Okay,
for
yeah,
both.
yeah.
So
So
let's
basically what we
let's
are
do.
going to do right here, as I know, is that we need to use the Pimlico client to get the user operation gas price. Pimlico client, yes. And we're going get user operation gas price. This exactly, I mean, what do we do with this gas chain?
Yes, I think If you wanna go, I forgot that one. So what are the properties we get from the fees?
Yeah, so we get the like from the gas fees, like you get your fast, slow, and
Max.
medium. So it's
Yeah.
basically depends on the network congestion. So like if you want your transaction to be executed in a faster way to be picked up by the validators, you can pay the fast gas price, which will eventually like allow you to complete your transaction much faster. And if you don't care that your transaction is executed slowly or picked up late by the validators, you can basically use the slow as well. But since like we, it only depends on the Sapolia. For L2s, I think it's mostly the same.
Hmm. So I see that Ale is doing something interesting. So we have in the delegated client, we have a function called is deployed. It is basically a check to see if the delegate account is already deployed or not. And only if it is not deployed, we are going to deploy it. Otherwise, we don't run the use operation to deploy it. So the function is smart account dot is deployed. You have to avoid that one because it's urgent.
Yes.
So it's a boolean value. So if it is not true, you are going to deploy
This
the
is
delegate
actually
account.
quite interesting. Basically, when you create the smart account, the one that we saw right here, this is not actually on a
Mhm.
blockchain. This is not online. Okay.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's in your only in your
Okay.
local.
I think,
But we know the address. So that's the counterfactual part. So once you deploy it, so usually when you deploy a smart contract or something, you don't know the address beforehand, right? You only know the address once you
Yes.
deploy it. But in this case, it's different. You know the address beforehand because we use we use the deploy salt and other stuff to calculate the address. You know the address beforehand.
Okay.
So deploying it bit tricky and it's just sending a dummy transaction to the bundler. So then it will try to run the use operation, and in that process it will look for the smart account, see if it is whether deployed or not. If it is not, they're going to the bundler going to run the call to deploy the account.
Exactly.
So you that by is send use operation, right? Bundle
Yeah.
client.
Bundler client. Yeah.
Client
That
is send use
send
operation.
user operation. Here it is. And okay.
Yeah.
And this is the one.
There you need
Okay.
yeah, going. So your account. So you are sending the use operation from your
Yeah.
delegate account.
This is
And then you just need to have a dummy you can do like any transaction, but for now, since we don't want to spend money on that one, we just send it to do use zero address. So there is a special address called zero address, and we are calling that one zero address. If you hover over it, you will see the address. So it's 0x00, like many zeros. So again, this just a trick to make the delegate account to be deployed. So it's just a trick. We are just sending a like each transaction to the zero address. Then bundler can figure out, okay, he's asking to deploy the delegate account and deploy the account, and then all need to add the gas flag you have already added.
yes.
So those are the two like major three things we need to uh, create a use operation. One is the account, what is the account you are interacting with, and the calls. Calls are basically like what are you doing with the smart account. So basically the transaction and the gas fees. Let's see.
Okay.
So just like in the regular blockchain transaction, you will send a transaction and you wait for the confirmation. And here it's bit different with bundlers. You have to that is called, I think, bundler client dot away wait transaction
Okay.
receipt.
Wait a second.
So you had to wait for the
Yeah.
transaction use operation.
Right here, I'm just going to go right here. But after
Okay, no.
that, after this, yes, we
So
are going to have the, yeah,
with the receipt, you get the hash back. You get the because each operation is assigned a
yeah,
hash. So you have the hash already on the above. So in the next one, wait transaction receipt, I guess.
yeah.
Do you have
Need
okay wait
one.
transaction?
wait for transaction receipt. Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. Now pass the hash.
Nice. So basically, this is it. We can console log it, and
Yeah, I see.
this is actually this is where the smart account, like the delegator account, is basically done because this is when we deploy it, right? Here we create
Exactly.
it, but it's not on chain. Here we deploy it, so it's
Yeah,
already on chain.
yeah,
Uh, it's ready to be used right here. Okay, so
yeah.
let's give this a look.
Yes. You can write delegation and do other stuff. Just run it. Moment of truth.
Okay, invalid.
That's how you.
Yeah, invalid smart account nodes used for the user operation. Get
What is
user
that?
operation. Get user operation gas price. Do I need to add something else to that? I don't think so.
No, I think that's it for the bundle client.
Hmm.
I think we can get more information from
What is
the
it?
Pimlico dashboard as well.
Okay.
A25 invalid account nonce.
Go to log. So get the last one. So these are the logs of all the use operations that bundler gets.
Yeah,
Invalid nonce. So the nonce is zero, right?
I
For this
think I
one.
didn't add the nose. Should I?
You don't have to
No,
add
no,
the
no.
nonce, right?
Uh, what else? Placehold. Get user operation gas price is before it's not.
Maybe there's a pending use operation or something.
No, I think can you go back to the error? It's A25, right? We can check in the A25 permissionless invalid account nonce. Okay.
Okay, wait a second. I think I know where it is. We have a user select right here, and oh no, this is like this. This is okay. So yeah,
Maybe it's running multiple times. Could it be since you are in the
Yeah,
use
that
effect? I
yes,
think
that
that's the
can be
issue.
also one thing.
You are trying to submit multiple use operations continuously because your use effect is running
okay.
multiple times
Should I?
because it says no.
Yes. Let me just try it again for a second. Hmm.
Hmm, same thing, same error.
Is the account deployed already?
Can you check? But otherwise, that code won't run, right?
Yeah,
So running it,
because right here,
so it is not deployed.
if
Yeah, you
it's
check.
not deployed,
You run this.
let me
I think we can get the nonce and edit like get account nonce.
let's get nonce.
I think what is. Can you change the salt for a moment? Because when we are trying, I think we try changing salt to some other value,
Like 0x.
0, 1, 0x1 or something, some random value, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now just try it. It will create a new delegate account.
It's deployed full.
No,
Oh. Yeah,
same error.
signature provided for the user operation is invalid.
It's something
The
else.
signature is in,
Maybe we can disconnect and connect again.
You have to connect
yeah,
again. Sorry, yeah, because awesome.
okay, but
We are
let's
getting some
wait.
different error means we are making progress at least. So Ali is logging in again with
Yes,
Web3auth and attaching signer to the delegate account. No, same thing. It's the same
looks
error.
like it. Yeah, signature provided, but what?
What?
Hmm. Let me just check here. We have the signatory, the wallet claim. We created the wallet claim.
All the kind is
Use
correct.
wallet claim coming from WACME. Here we do not need this by now.
How about the chain you use Sepholia
Yeah,
everywhere, right?
I mean, but I'm not using it right here.
Yeah, so the public client uses Sepholia.
Yes, we did use it in the past, but we do not actually need it
What's
here. Generate private key token. We do not need this,
Don't need.
but let me just give this a quick look. This is okay. Hybrid sold signatory wallet client. Then we're setting the account. It's okay. Here we have the gas price. If the smart account is connected, we check if it's deployed. Then if it's not deployed, we're going to away for the bundle clients and use operator code, keyword address, gas price. Okay, but it falls, I mean, it fails here. I guess it's because it's already deployed. Could be. It's
But
false. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, it's
false, right?
false.
It's not
So it's
deployed,
probably
which means this
here.
thing is
User operation submitted.
what is the very first error? Okay, it's on the
Yeah,
Web3
this is
auth.
the web layout. It,
So the non signature for the user operation is incorrectly computed. Do you have the
hmm,
MetaMask connector as well?
that could be. Let me just um, right.
Disconnected maybe
Yeah,
because they are trying to use the
I owe
same. No,
account details. No. I always forget where I disconnect to every year. No,
it's not connected.
it's
not
not
Uh,
connected.
connected.
Not
Yeah, yeah.
connected
yeah.
yet.
Can you try with the MetaMask account and
So the
see?
second thing is the,
Okay, let's try with the MetaMask account. Okay, RPC error. Oh,
Okay, we need to change the chain ID in the MetaMask.
that's probably why.
it's linear
Linear
It's
Sepholia.
because
Sapolia,
of
So
yeah.
that.
Uh,
It happened again. It's the second time today.
yeah, yeah. So be careful when copy pasting code from
Yes.
somewhere. So and
Let me disconnect.
that's the lesson today. Try Web3 auth.
Yeah.
It should work now.
so the issue was basically we are using the bundler RPCs for the
Yeah,
Yeah.
wrong.
Sapolia, but we were using the public client of the linear Sapolia, and that's why the nonce was mismatching.
It
Yes,
went through,
here
right?
it
So the
is.
user.
So good.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
let's
Debugging
go.
User.
live. Demo gods.
now.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the dashboard, see if like what is happening behind the scenes. Then we'll understand. Like we get the whole
Here
picture
we
with
have
that
the
one.
operation mine.
Transaction
Yes.
too, right?
So let's check the logs.
So go to the dashboard. Maybe you need to refresh it. It's not
There
there.
it
Yeah,
is.
get the not that one. So actual user
This one.
operation is little below that one. Yeah, yeah. So this is what is happening in the bundler side. So your user operation will be added to something called alt mempool, which is different from the regular mempool we have in the blockchain. And then bundler is bundling the user operation multiple times and then submit. They do some checks as well. They do this check the signature. That's why we got the signature error in the previous case. So they check all those things in the bundler side, and then only they submit it to the blockchain. So the submitted one is the thing we like submit into the blockchain. Maybe you can copy the transaction hash and go to Etherscan or
The
something. So Folia and see like
it's the same. Yeah, it's the
what
same.
is the actual transaction.
Sequoia.
So Folia Etherscan and
Okay,
okay, that is the transaction to deploy the delegate account.
perfect. Okay, so this is the gas price, but actually I didn't pay for gas price. I paid.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pimlico paid for
okay.
now.
Basically, let's
I wish Pimlicon can pay my
yeah, my transaction.
gas price on minute as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
let's do a quick recap.
so yeah, exactly.
So yes, basically,
Do you wanna go? Yeah,
I'll do it and
please go.
you'll interrupt me whenever you think it's needed. But
Yeah,
what we did, we
yeah.
created a connect wallet button using the Web3 app providers. So we're doing a login with social this time, so that way we do not have to sign the transaction because Web3 apps do it. I mean, we can create a signer. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but okay, you'll interrupt me if I'm wrong. But so yeah, after that, what we are going is creating the smart account. So we do it using the MetaMask Delegation Tool Kit method, which is to MetaMask a smart account. And this, what we are doing is basically setting up the smart account, but without um, deploying it to the blockchain. So this is probably a complete account, which is a smart contract account that acts as a wallet, but it's not specifically a wallet. So kind of tricky, but understood.
Mm.
So after we have the smart account ready, what we have to do is to set up the smart account. And this setup is basically deploy the smart account if it's not deployed. If it's deployed,
Mhm.
basically what we can do is to start delegating using it. I think this is not something
Yeah,
that we're going to see today, but basically this is
yeah,
like the general overview.
yeah. So if we zoom out a bit, this delegator account we just created is the admin's account, which means not the AI agent account, is the owner of the AI agent's account.
For
So in the next session, we'll create a different wallet for the AI agent, and from this delegate account, we'll be writing delegation to that AI agent wallet, so that AI agent wallet can handle some like on-chain stuff. So that's like our next target in the next session. So because too much for the single day, so we'll like spreading out the code like probably 2 3 session.
yes, and this
So
is
hope things
yeah,
go
this
well.
is a really interesting live coding session. It's the delegation toolkit. It's a more complex concept to understand. So there are like several steps. First, you have and several
Yeah.
participants. Let's say in this case, it's the delegator account. Then you have the delegate account, and then you have, of course, the
Mm.
bundler, which is the one that executes the transaction and deploy the smart contract account. Then we're
Yeah.
going to have the AI agent, which is going to be the owner of the delegate account. So
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the stuff that we
Lot of
have to put
moving parts.
together,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
we're going to get it. Probably right now it's a bit messy, but in the following sessions, I'm sure we're going to clarify everything.
Yeah. It's bit difficult to understand just because so if we say that you don't know anything about account abstraction and other stuff, so if you know those stuff, this is just easy. It's just you need to understand delegation only. But if you don't know the 4337 stuff like you bundler user operation stuff, it's a bit
Yeah.
hard. That's why we focus so much time today to explain those like basic fundamental concepts today, how the account abstraction work, how the smart contract wallet works, etc. So now things are settled here, so we can go fast with the delegation, actual delegation stuff next in
Yeah.
the session.
Looks like we're going for a 2 hours live coding session.
Yeah, I think.
So
So yeah, I think we're good. Is there any other question around
or
or
feedbacks
feedbacks?
even.
Yeah,
So we are not sure. This is our first one. So bear with us. So we might make mistakes, some stupid things, but just give you valuable feedbacks on the session. Yeah,
This is super useful. General ask that I'm getting from people, like specifically about tooling and Cursor. Do you feel like the debugging side, Cursor is helping on the developer experience, apart the prompting side?
yes, but sometimes since this is live, I try to autocomplete a lot, and sometimes it's not what I actually want.
Mhm.
So it's kind of tricky because then I need to delete and then rewrite it again and then start writing it until it gives me what I actually need. But in my day-to-day life code, I mean, life coding session, no, in my day-to-day coding session, uh, it's actually quite helpful, like a lot. So yeah, I use it a lot to code and yes, and debug. But in this case, I think it's actually quite good. I think since the delegation toolkit is something new, it's more difficult for it to suggest to you like good code unless it has already learned something about our earlier session. So it was suggesting me like the good stuff now. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is me.
so we are revamping to, we actually revamped the documentation to better support
Yeah.
cursor and other kind of IDs at the moment. So it there will be better supports
Yeah.
coming in the future.
Nice.
So auto completion and stuff will work properly. For now, I think it's not figuring out because it's brand new and docs are not optimized to handle the LLM
Yeah.
coding basically IDs.
Yeah, I heard people starting.
But better,
I'll go for it.
yeah, I mean, things are coming together in the coming 2 3 weeks
Yeah, and I
probably.
think we're pushing we will push also more tutorials, right? When things are going to go publish, right? So I think that would be super useful because people
Yeah,
can start running their own kind of tutorial.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you guys have been always also working on some sort of like CLI, right? I don't know if still are public things, but I think like this could be on the not on the CLI on the
yeah.
SDK side, but also for the Delegation Toolkit.
Maybe Francisco, we can give some heads up on the Cook-Off as well
Oh
happening
yes.
in April. So we are targeting, so
Oh
you can go
yeah, yeah.
ahead.
So basically, like I don't know if anybody is aware, but this month we're doing a full MetaMask cook-off, and it's basically a 1 month long virtual hackathon on MetaMask SDK. And as now we're also like pushing hard on the delegation toolkit side, seems like we're going also on the public side, so people can start to onboard seamlessly. We were thinking to actually run a full MetaMask developer cook-off, like for the months of April, only on and mostly on Delegation Toolkit with different partners. So we are still waiting to disclose some of the partners, but the big kind of like news here is that Delegation Toolkit is also arriving, and people can start not just testing it but hacking on it, and also we're bringing some solid bounties around it. Did I miss anything, Chin?
Yes. Bounties is the best part. So
Yes, yes.
let's
Yeah,
Also,
but I think
I yeah,
okay.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, this is helping a lot. Like this live coding session is helping a lot because it's bringing a lot of like prepping kind of like the terrain of when people want to start hacking, and actually going through the docs. We send over also some links in the live stream here with the docs that Chin and everyone kind of like was mentioning during the intros, and I think this is useful. Yeah, go for it, Alejandro.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was going to mention that this live coding session, as you said, is going to be like really helpful for the hackathon. This is actually something, it's a new product. It's new. Probably there is no other resources out there to create using the delegation toolkit. So we should be like pretty active on supporting the developers. So these live coding sessions are going to be a really good set of uh, steps that you have to follow to actually create a good application using the GTK. So yeah, I actually wanted to remember the developers that we already have a running hackathon too on the MetaMask Dev Kickoff, but from this month. So it's actually if you want to participate, that one is building with the SDK.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we should show the. Let me show the page. Let me find it here. So basically, what you can do is going here on our
I
on the HackWest
have it.
on the HackWest page, and basically when you go to the all hackathon, you can see, yeah, like you can see this one
Here it
here. Let
is.
me. There you are. Yes. And
Nice.
yeah, and basically here we have so you have still 12 days to go. But the idea here is to run with a 5K actually like things the prices. Or you wanna go ahead, Alejandro, but it's super exciting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This way right here, what you have to do is to build a application that implements the MetaMask SDK, which is actually not that difficult as implementing the delegation toolkit. So it's an easy bounty for you guys. So, but we're going to be judging like really good applications, you know? So we want to see like your applications using the SDK, the MetaMask SDK, connecting to MetaMask using it. And yeah, we have already some projects that a developer has submitted. I've seen some really cool of them implementing the MetaMask SDK properly. So yeah, I think this was just a reminder for you to see it, but you have some ideas right there that if you want to build, you can build a marketplace where using a wallet agent, you could create a DeFi solution. You have you can actually take like your old project and start building it again. So yeah,
And this is very important, this part here. Please, guys, use
yes.
actually like the SDK
But
properly.
I've
And
seen
yeah,
I've seen the projects and they are doing it. They are using the MetaMask SDK properly.
this is
So
amazing.
they have seen the video, I think, and they have read the description. So yeah, because they
Nice,
are
nice.
implementing it well. So yeah.
This is cool. This is cool.
We
Yeah,
can also
it's so
use
excited.
the,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, I was asking like, can they also use the WAGMI with MetaMask SDK? It's like using with Web3 also. Does the MetaMask SDK also support WAGMI?
Uh, yes, yes. Actually, if you connect with WalkMe, but you cannot use the injected connector. You have to use the MetaMask connector. So that
I
way
see.
you're going to be using the MetaMask SDK because the MetaMask connector uses like the mobile connection and has this modal to install the extension if you do not have it installed. So yeah, you can
They're
you
full
can
here also on the
yeah
docs, right?
use WalkMe
Uh,
with the MetaMask.
the JavaScript have been recommended. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so exciting, exciting time. And I think, this is also the goal that everyone, can check this live coding session, is involved virtually. If you don't have the time or you're not coming to some of those IRL hackathons, no problem. We get you kind of like covered. And, like the goal is not just running those monthly virtual hackathon, but also we're coming up with different developer bounty and builder grants with really the idea to actually like, you testing stuff, but also you building and implementing and integrating those SDK in the dApps. So I think that's kind of like why we're here, why we're supporting the community, and why we're passionate to do this. Okay, sounds good. I think we did a lot. I kind of like feel also like tired a little bit. Like we ran through all the Gator kind of intros, mostly because it was the first kind of main delegation toolkit live coding session, and then also we ran this through specifically like from build from scratch. What else is needed? Like, what is happening next? Are we doing like a part two? I think like, I think in 2 weeks, as mentioned, like things will go publicly. So there is a lot of like different things that we can actually play around. But yeah, we are cooking.
Next step, like the part two, should be, I don't know if I'm being too optimistic, but probably next week. We
Hmm.
we could do it next week, like the part
Chin,
two,
what do you
if
think?
it's possible.
Yeah, let's see.
No, sounds
Okay,
good.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there you are. I think it's a good idea. Okay, sounds good. Any closing words here? So we will send also like more links out. You have also this recording that people can just review and recheck and go through. And we will also start working on different kind of tutorials. What else is out there for like lesson learned or things that people can just pick up and build?
Actually, uh, yes, we have a lot of initiatives right now. We have the MetaMask Dev Cook-Off. We have this live coding session happening monthly. So stay around. I think we have a lot of new products coming along and surprises probably. There could be some Easter eggs in this call right now. So yeah, let's see.
Nice. Sounds good. Last words, Ayush or Chin.
Thank you so
No,
much for having me here. I'll take the closing words.
no, I just want to say thank you and other people who joined in today. Yeah, let's keep in
Awesome.
touch.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for everybody that also organized and coordinated this. I think there is always a lot of
Yeah.
efforts bringing in, like in promoting, advocating for actually like the session. And looking forward for our next part two and the next session. And in the meantime, please check out the MetaMask Dev Cook-Off and all our updates that we are shipping and cooking. Thanks, everyone.